Greetings, blessings, and good fortune, everybody. I'm a little bit late today. We had a change of venue. I apologize. I'm hoping to see you all here, hoping that we're going out to everyone who we plan to go out to. So I'm just going to do a few checks, make sure we have the Facebook, we have the YouTube, we have many different venues going out here. So yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good, ladies and gents. I don't see anybody in the chat yet, but that's fine. I threw this up today, basically for a bunch. I tagged a bunch of you. Put it that way, because what I like to see personally, and this is just me, is participation. And I'm telling you, I understand that some of you can't watch live, and hey, I'm the same way. I really have a crazy schedule, and I don't get to watch the podcasts and watch the things that I really I would love to have participated in, but so be it. But I do know that some of you are able to make it, and I'm thankful to all of you just for watching. Now, before we start with anything in the realm of politics or any of that, let us go to the verse of the day. That will set us off, as it were. So here's where we're going. We are going to go to verse of the day. Is that a surprise? What a surprise. Verse of the day for the verseoftheday.com. Sing to God. Sing praise to his name. Extol him who rides on the clouds. His name is the Lord, and rejoice before him. A father to the fatherless, a defender of widows, is God in his holy dwelling. You know, I read the Bible, and hey, Sue, good to see you. And it doesn't cease to amaze me how universally applicable it is to our lives. I'm not going to, preach to you. I'm not going to tell you exactly what you need to do. You are you. So where I'm going with this is, if you ever care to reference the Bible in your day-to-day life, and you find that, well, it's a little, heavy or confusing, then hit me up. I'll set you down an easy path that you might like a little bit better than just jumping in without dipping your toe, so to speak. Sue says, hey, I just thought of it. Did you ever get your delivery? No, not yet. How long ago was it? You know what? I may have, but I don't know which you speak. So I guess we'll go offline after the show. Yeah, we'll do that. So what I'm talking about right now is the fact that we have so many things going on in our life, and I don't mean to blow you off, so I just don't remember. We have so many things going on in life that we let things go through. We let, how would you say, opportunities pass. Let me say it that way. Let me put it that way. Matt says XRP is tanking. Matt, you know what? Just before you said that, I know there's a time delay there, but I had just said that sometimes in our life, because of schedules, because of whatever, we miss opportunities in life. I'm not telling anyone that XRP is an opportunity of a lifetime. Jesus Christ Almighty is the opportunity of a lifetime. XRP, Barry, good to see you on. XRP, however, is an opportunity right now. So I don't know if you all follow crypto. I know some of you do, Matt, right? The way I do. But I want to let you know that Bitcoin is under $60,000. XRP is a little over $1.03. Guys, if a solid project, which is Cardano, which Cardano did not get hacked. Let me let you know if anybody says anything about that. Buy the dip, says Barry. Absolutely. Amazon says it was on the 21st. Describe the item if you can, Sue, and I'll let you know if I got it. Matt says, I'm buying. Okay, I'm buying, Barry. Yeah, well, I would love to just throw a pile of cash in. I'm just not in that position. Eric, Hey, pal, I'm in a remote area with the land between the lakes investigating a Bigfoot sighting. Wow. That is awesome, Eric. I tell you, I wear shirts for this broadcast, okay? Because if I don't, we're going to have all kinds of Sasquatch sightings. And I can't turn around and make it better because the back is the same. Go figure. But you have some good luck, Eric. By the way, Eric, have you ever seen the video Strange? Oh, gee, I can't remember what the name it was. It was funny. They went on an expedition to hunt down Bigfoot. If anybody remembers, throw it up there. That was a very, very funny movie. So I'm back here, and what I'm saying about these opportunities is this. If you have any money that you can invest and you think that there is some way you can depart with the money that you invest, meaning don't put the light money up, don't put the mortgage money up, something you can afford to lose. There are so many deals right now. And I say this about projects that have been on the blockchain for many years. And the one that pops into my mind is OG crypto Digibyte. It's one of the most solid decentralized cryptos out there. And it's going, not only is it less than 1 cent, it's nearly less than a zero after the 1 cent. And this has been around for a long time. Let me real quick on Digibyte. Let me real quick get you their high and their low, because they're at 0.0024 right now. So very quickly, I'm going to go on to Coin Market Cap and see if we can find that info. They have many things. I'm not used to looking at this on the phone. I apologize. But we're going to see if we can get historical data, high, low for all time. Okay, it doesn't have all time. But I don't know. If anybody gets that, check it out. I don't want to waste your time with that. Not that it's a waste of time, Digibyte, but there's so many out there, guys. There are so many different opportunities. So XRP, I can't remember. I was buying it on the upswing too. So I'm not going to say I never bought it at below $1. I have. I don't have a huge bag. I wish I had more, but XRP looks poised to pump. Wow. Poised to pump. PP. Nice. Anyway, another thing that I'm saying as far as where we can go with these investments is, if you choose a good product, you choose a good project as well, it's not a guarantee you're going to get a profit. It's not a guarantee you'll ever see your money again. What it is something that you can invest in for the future that, if it pays off, will pay off greatly. And I'm using things like Digibyte. I'll go back to one of my favorites, T-Fuel, right? So right over there is, on the other side of this computer screen, is a laptop that I'm running. And I'm running this laptop for a purpose. It gains me interest, so to speak, on a stake of T-Fuel. And right now, that node is extremely inexpensive. Sue says, sound familiar? I came, I saw, I forgot what I was doing, went back, got distracted, and have no idea what's going on. Is this my cup? I have to pee. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't get better with age. It doesn't get better. The more I allow in my sphere of vision, like right now, I'm concentrating on the camera purposely, because if I let other things come in, I get distracted. How many times have you gone into a room? Forget about the garage. You go in the garage, the odds of you coming out of the garage with what you actually intended to are slim, at least in my case. I go in that place, it's like a vortex, right? I can't escape without things jumping out at me in my mind, right? Telling me they need attention now. And then, ultimately, I don't really get it done. But hey, that's life. I'm hoping retirement, Barry, you can shoot me straight on this. I'm hoping it's better in retirement. Can you actually walk into some place and spend some time there and get some stuff done without, that specter of impending schedule demands behind you? I hope you can. I pray you do, Barry. I don't know if it's going to be that way for all of us, but man, I hope at least you can live that way. So where I'm going with this whole opportunity thing, Matt, vis-a-vis your XRP is tanking post, is that the reason I think we have so much opportunity now is because I see things occurring in real time so that we might have hope for future gains in our investments. Sue says, that was the coffee cup I got you for Father's Day with some awesome Italian coffee beans. Oh, wow. I'm going to have to check up on that. I'm going to make sure nobody opened that because I don't know if it's arrived yet. But thank you. Thank you very much. And Dad, I hope you're watching. I owe you a Father's Day gift, by the way. It'll come. It'll be there. It'll be there, Dad. Just don't hold your breath, please. Matt says, I can remember an entire song from the 80s, but can't remember why I went to the kitchen. Exactly. I bet you could tell me exactly who the group is that sang You're Too Shy. I know you know it. I know it. I don't want to say it. We'll see who knows it. But that's the kind of stuff I know. Unfortunately, it's the only kind of stuff I know. Anyway, Jaime, who recommends a good aesthetician? I need some work done. Well, normally Stolichnaya and Partners works. Sometimes it's Everclear. It really will help, Jaime. Not in any way. It really won't. But those are suggestions. Barry says, I can when I get off my arse. But you know what, Barry? I'm going to tell you something. The thing about getting up off it is a lot better in retirement. I would hope. Because getting up off it, when you have a job, means you got to continually do this on a daily basis, at least 5 days a week, right? But I know for a fact that once I hit the couch, it's not easy to vacate the keister from the couch. Yeah, I'm on a roll today. I'm on a roll. Sue says, Dad asked, he's sending a watch. Dad, if you we'll see. I'm gonna have to spin the wheel of fortune, Dad. See what it is that Father's Day will bring you. Because I am probably the king of procrastinators, and I am sorry for that. Dad, you already have a good watch, though. So I hear. Good rechargeable one. Fun. Anyway, these opportunities that are coming our way, I believe, are to be taken advantage of. Why? Because here are some things happening. And I want to give you guys a tip. I've been watching these wonderful ladies. I'm not going to use old. What's old, right? I'm old. These wonderful ladies that are surprisingly, and I don't mean because they're, quote, old ladies, but because they're on the ball. They're directly on point. They're not just someone out there who's telling you things because they guess at it or, maybe they've heard it somewhere. These ladies, and it's called Promethean action. If you like Rumble, it's very censorship resistant. Rumble is great. They're on YouTube if you're more comfortable with YouTube. But the fact of the matter is, Promethean action. And one woman's name is Susan Kokinda, and I can't remember the other lady's name. But they are very articulate as to what is said in a certain, let's say, press conference. And this one happened to be Kevin Warsh, our new Fed chairman, who spoke. I'm telling you, he spoke in a way that it was amazing to see because no other Fed chairman since I've been around paying attention has ever spoken the way he has. Why? Because he's not speaking about what's good for the banks. He's not speaking about what's good for the economy, just the economy. He does that, but not just the economy. He's speaking about what's good, what's going to happen if they take a certain tack, if they go a certain direction for you and for me, the American people. And I believe that what happens well for American people will happen well for the world. What bodes well for Americans and for America bodes well for the world in this new generation, in this new paradigm. Before, it was good things for America, and we're going to basically color revolution your country and put you into socialism, communism, or some mixture thereof as bank slaves. Okay? They're gone. Maybe not completely, but I'm telling you, ask Argentina, ask Venezuela, right? Ask El Salvador, ask North Korea. Okay? Ask all of these places. Are they better off with Trump? Absolutely. Without a question. Thank you. You don't even have to answer it. I can answer it for you. So Sue says, sorry, went off topic. So if you had to explain blockchain's biggest advantage without mentioning Bitcoin, what would you say? Okay. Excellent. Blockchain's biggest advantage is, well, and there's a bag of them, a very secure network, depending, okay? You can write, I'm sure, bad code and get a bad blockchain. But if you write good code, your blockchain is very secure, especially if it's decentralized. Blockchain is also something that is transparent. What do I mean by that? I mean that every transaction on a given blockchain, unless you're in and I digress a bit, unless you're in a privacy coin like Monero, and there's one other that I'm familiar with, then it pretty much makes it untraceable where it came from and went to, which is okay. Hey, privacy is great. So it is transparent in that you can not only see what went from a wallet to a wallet, etc. It will give you an idea of how these transactions can come together, maybe a pattern, maybe this, that, whatever. Two. We had two. The second or the third is it allows you to do things such as contracts, right? So you can have a blockchain contract. And what that does is it takes let's say two parties for simplicity. Two parties can make a digital contract on the blockchain, and there are no third-party risks, meaning otherwise you might need an arbiter, you might need a chairman, you might need a ombudsman, you might need a whatever for some sort of association in the past. Now, all you need is a contract on the blockchain. Okay? That's it. You both agree on the terms. The code is right there. If you might need some help from a friend, a family member or something to read that code, hey, if then, okay, I'm good with it. You good with it? Yeah. Test it out a little bit. Blammo. There you go. A security contract right there. So those are some of the ones that blockchain I enjoy about blockchain. Some people think it's just not private enough because you can trace it. But imagine if all of the government agencies had to be on a blockchain. Imagine if we could watch the pool of our tax-paying money, or hopefully soon we won't be paying income tax. It'll be the pool of money that comes into our country via tariffs, goes into, let's say, an account, a crypto account, or it'd be a stable coin account, a wallet, if you will, for this agency or that agency. We'd know right away. We would know right away where it's going because we could look it up. And it's in its simplest form right now. I would imagine that it'd be much more easily interfaced for newbies, or whatever you want to call them, in 5 years. Anybody will be able to do it. Like the internet was difficult at first, right? Back in the day when it's and the contracts are legally binding. Well, as far as that goes, I'm not sure. Here's the thing. Again, we are still in the infancy stage. Are there blockchain attorneys out there? I'm sure there are. But what I'm getting at is it will bind, okay? So there will be a secure sense of, hey, this is what's going to happen. If it malfunctions, there can also be contingency plans in the code that will say, hey, if one person has not signed off on this transaction, it will not occur. Or both parties have to sign off simultaneously. Things like that. It's all possible. Not by me. I don't write code. I don't. But I know these things are possible because I have read of them from sources that have succeeded using these things, right? Now, I'm sure there's horror stories out there of someone who, put their money in something and there were 4 or 5 different people and they weren't able to get it out because they signed something rashly or too quickly that would require everyone to sign off on something that they desire. That kind of thing's probably out there. Don't get me wrong. You have to inspect everything. But blockchain is the future. In fact, it's not the future, it's the now. The rails, and Matt, this speaks to your favorite, XRP, the rails have been laid. Okay, those laid down tracks are XRP. There are others, XLM, HBAR, XDC, okay, to name a few. Those have been named, not by me, just by me. They have been named in legislative bodies, hearings on Capitol Hill, okay? Those are the types of things that are going on that if you don't know about it, again, we're going to go back to those opportunities. You might not be able to take advantage of these opportunities, right? And you may not want to. That's fine. We're not here just to, tell you about opportunities, though I like to do it. I do. I'm not a financial advisor by any means. And, you should probably never take financial advice from someone who's got glasses like these, right? Almost, yeah, you don't want to do that. So where I'm going with this is look this up for yourself. Don't just believe me. However, if you have questions, that's what I'm here for. Now, another thing that I think we ought to touch on. We're going to go, I guess, a little bit into the political thing. And I don't want to forget either about that Kevin Warsh press conference. He packed a lot of good stuff in there. Again, it's Promethean Action. Susan Kokinda, she did it yesterday. It went out yesterday, I think. They can be found on Rumble and in YouTube. And had I not been a little discombobulated today, I would have put the clip up. If I knew I was going to be here, I would have put the clip up. But here's where we're going with this. One of the things that we have to remember about this transition from the old thing to the new thing, okay, is the fact that not everybody's going to do it at once. Not everybody, and I think the way it should be, I think the good guys, so to speak, are going to do it this way, is it's going to be an on-ramp and an off-ramp, okay? So you're going to have an on-ramp to the new system, an off-ramp to the old system, right? And I'm hoping that it doesn't, and I know it, why do I know? I'm assuming, I guess. I shouldn't say I know. The problem is, if it goes like that, people are not going to be prepared at all, and it's just going to be chaos. We don't want that. Barry says, Bitcoin was proof of concept for blockchain technology. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, Barry, but here's the issue. Bitcoin is, I guess you could call it, the metal, the top notch. Why? Not because it was first, and it might not have even been first, but because of its exclusive. No, let me not even say exclusive, because I just mentioned Digibyte. There's others. I think Bitcoin Cash is decentralized, but the decentralized nation native blockchain of Bitcoin is amazing. Again, I'll go into some real basics real quick. The 51% thing. So Bitcoin is not worldwide. If anybody was going to hack the blockchain of Bitcoin, they would have to take control of 51% of worldwide computers mining Bitcoin. Ladies and gentlemen, I probably would fail in trying to bring to you the impossibility, the near impossibility of that. But so I won't. But just try to imagine, expand the mind a little bit, and all the computers in the world, you have to grab a hold of 51% of them to alter the blockchain. And even then, there are remedies to a hack, if you will. So, ladies and gents, it is almost 99.99% sure that if anything happens with Bitcoin, a hack, like they like to say, it's our fault. We've allowed it to happen because we weren't responsible with our banker status. We don't need banks anymore. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You have to be disciplined. You have to be knowledgeable, but you no longer need a bank. That's to be appreciated. Matt said, what is privacy? What is a privacy coin? Is Zcash an example? I believe so, but a privacy coin is this. And I know a little bit about Monero, and that's the one I know most about. I know a little bit about Zcash. I know it's popular, and I know it tanked for some reason, but a lot of things are, right? Monero is a privacy coin that means you can have your wallet, okay? Let's say you go up to, and I'm going to use for an example, a decentralized exchange. My favorite, of course, is Change Now, right? If you have any questions, let me know. But Change Now allows you to not have to be a member of an exchange. Are there benefits to being a member of an exchange? Yes. And Matt, you've extolled those benefits with Coinbase to me on multiple occasions. It helps for many things. But the decentralized exchange beauty is that you don't store your crypto there at all, ever. In fact, it's impossible to store your crypto there. You go up to Change Now with your request. I want to exchange however much of this coin, let's say Bitcoin, or let's say a stable coin, USDC. I want to exchange this coin for Monero. Okay. You go up there, you look at your Monero, you exchange, it comes back in your wallet. I don't know how it's done, but Monero makes that private. Okay. Whoever on the other side brought their Monero to the table and traded you for USDC or Bitcoin, or I think it's probably the Change Now apparatus that holds bags of these things. So when that happens, your actual sending from wallet, Monero wallet, sending from whatever wallet is traceable. Receiving from the Monero wallet of either the Change Now wallet or the other party on the other side, that it is basically the contract that governs Change Now is the in-between. I don't know how it works, but it's private. It's private. That's all I can say about what I know. I'm sure there are more details out there for a Monero fan, but it's something where if you want to do something with privacy, you can do it. Now, I know in your minds, most likely, you're saying, oh, well, doesn't that open itself up to crime? Ladies and gentlemen, when I hear that, I love to respond in this way. And it is absolutely 100% true. There is no monetary instrument in this world that has been used for more corruption than the Federal Reserve note. Bar none. Bar none. The Federal Reserve note has been used for more corruption, more pain, more suffering in this world than any other monetary instrument throughout time. I invite anyone to argue with that. Come on. Bring it on. There is no way any other monetary instrument has been more fraudulently issued and used, laundered, and stored than the Federal Reserve note of all denominations. Without a doubt in my mind. So that is my, I guess, assessment. Matt, if you have any differences of opinion, or if there's somebody out there who knows a little bit more about Monero, please let me know. So where I'm going with all of this is, how is it, really, how is it that people can malign a coin, so to speak, an instrument like Bitcoin, or in this case Monero, and say, hey, this is something that is criminal, or criminals use it. Ladies and gents, criminals use everything. That's what crime people do, Commies gonna commie. Criminals gonna crim. That's just the way things are. I'm not the author of all this. I'm just saying, hey, it happens. Where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? It's nothing that I can. Hey, Frank, you're on. Good to see you. I'm just logging into the Facebook thing. I'm of the mind that, why is it that people, well, if it's a bank, I know exactly why. Because they're going to be extinct. They're going to want to worm around. They're going to want to rat their way in. They're going to want to be like a fly that vomits on a piece of meat and drops the eggs. And then when things come and things are good, they're going to try and worm their way out and say, hey, guys, how about a central bank? Huh? Anybody? And then we could slap them again. We're never going back to that. It's criminal. It's a debt-based system. It is slavery, ladies and gentlemen. Slavery is the name of the Federal Reserve in my book. It is debt slavery. They work off of and thrive on debt from us to them. It's going, guys. It's going. It is not long for this world, so to speak. So, if you want privacy, you can get it. It probably comes at a cost. I don't know if that brings attention to you or not. I don't know any of that. So, you're going to want to look it up before you dive in. But, hey, the whole thing about this freedom thing is you be you. You do you. Learn, I urge, not commanding, I urge learning. It's a very good thing to do before diving into these things. I am here to help. If you have a specific question, I can use the places that I've used in the past and currently to learn a little bit more. And I can help you assess your risk tolerance or your knowledge base on a certain thing. And I enjoy doing these things. I enjoy digging deep, so to speak. I enjoy doing these things. And I like to expose other people to the same information that I have, if it's good. If it's good. I've heard a lot of stuff I'm not even going to point you guys to, right? But like the Susan Kokinda and the Promethean Action thing. Ladies and gentlemen, those ladies are gold. Those ladies are gold. And the narrative on Rumble, right? You want to listen to a deep dive, each and every episode about this fifth generational warfare we're going through, the narrative portion of that warfare, how even though we know we can't really know, we can still have some peace of mind if we use, first principle thinking. It puts things in such perspective that, for me, I'm going to speak for me, it enables me to back off. Look how I did that? I'm on rollers. It enables me to back off and not have to check the socials every day and have your heart rate move by what you see. That's no way to live, ladies and gentlemen. That's no way to live. We have to sometimes take that 40,000 foot viewpoint and assess things from a distance, because our world is crazy and we really never know what exactly we're being told. We do know we're being lied to if we watch TV. We do know we're being lied to if we listen to NPR. We do know we're being lied to if we read a newspaper or a magazine, Time, Newsweek, any of that pulp, right? And yes, 99% of the internet is deceiving us. But if you can, in your own mind, make a satisfactory filtered system of thought process based on first principles, meaning what is it that this is saying? How does it work? How can I possibly vet it for its truth value? And when you're comfortable, then you make an assessment. If you're not, you don't. You just let it ride, so to speak. Just let it go, so it doesn't bother you as much. I have friends of mine, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, I get riddled with doom links. Meaning, I'm going to go to the, Barry says you can't get privacy if you buy some new cars. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is not my idea. And I'm going off on a tangent here, but Barry, you've given me an idea. It's not mine. But how much money do you think a car company would make if they came out with a bare bones vehicle? Okay. You look under, you pop the hood. Hey man, there's space. I think I can fix this. Right? Basic things. The car will work. The car is going to be great. But if you want electronics in it, you got to bring it in with your phone. Okay? You're not going to get the electronic, potential for failure in that vehicle. I bet that company would make a buttload of money. Are you kidding me? Maybe they even make a model that's carbureted. Now I don't remember how bad carburetors got, but I do remember they were a hell of a lot easier to maintain than a fuel injector. I will be willing to bet. In fact, I would buy some stock in that company. Bare bones automobile. Okay? The only way you're going to get tracked in that automobile, the only way you're going to have some sort of, zero privacy thing is going to be if you bring your phone into it. If you ever want to have a drive and just think about something, hey, how would that be, Barry? How would that be if they went back to those retro radios where you got chukong to change the channel? Man, I know they would sell a bunch. I know they would. And if you don't notice the chukong, then you're a little bit young, because we used to do the chukong on the car radio to get it to turn. Matt says they would be dead, just like the guy that invented the car that runs on water. You're being a realist, Matt. Does reality always have to barge in onto our fantasies? Huh? When we get older, these are the kind of fantasies we have. Young men, a little bit different, but yeah, this is it. This is it. And here's the thing, Matt. I might be the eternal optimist, because I'm thinking that if there was a company that came out with something like that, not today, and I know they'd get whacked, right? But at some point, I think it's going to be possible. Barry says the government would never allow it. Yeah, I'm going to repeat that, Barry. I'm the optimist here. And I hope, and I pray, literally, I pray that we will be freed. Lord, may we be freed to the extent that is quite possible. And I know we don't always do well with freedom. Sometimes we need, guidelines, and that's what laws are for. But also, we need to ensure that we're living the right way so that others, hopefully, can follow. And the only way to know that you're living the right way is this book right here, the Bible. That's all I know. That's all I need to know. So Barry says, exactly, Matt. Yeah, we have to agree. At this point, yeah, we have to agree. How many people have run their vehicles on water? I wonder if any are still running it on water and they just haven't said anything. Sue says, they make them so you have to service them through their dealers. Absolutely. Special tools to get an easy part replacement, etc. Absolutely, Sue. Absolutely. And you're not even going into the part where a lot of us think, which is at any point you become a problem to them, they'll just take control of the vehicle. That's possible with many, especially Teslas or electric vehicles like that. But I think we'd probably be surprised. Many of the models that we drive are probably, if you're sinister enough, if you're tech savvy enough, technologically evolved, I was going to say, then yeah, I think you probably could do it with a regular, it's computer chips everywhere on these vehicles, and they start running poorly, and now you gotta go to your O'Reilly's or whatever and get a readout. And even then, it's not a guarantee. You don't know. But yeah, so I agree. You got to service them through their dealers. Have you ever gone to a dealership and gotten service on your vehicle from them? Oh, it's ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying that your average mechanic is really cheap. I'm just saying that dealers are premium. And I have a Chevy pickup. I'm not going to malign Chevys, but I'm telling you, between 2013 and I think 2018, they had bum transmissions. And I inherited one with a 2015. It cost me $3,000 to just, and that wasn't even, it would have been $3,900. Had I known it only would have been $3,900 to buy a brand new one, I would have done so. But I didn't know that at the time. So I paid $3,000 to have a rebuilt one. Anyway, hopefully that'll last me for the rest of the vehicle, the rest of the life of the vehicle, or mine, whichever comes first. Isn't that the way warranties work? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yes, I am, again, the eternal optimist. I do believe that we will be, at one point in time, at a place where I guess you could call them intel agencies, will not be doing that anymore. They will not be snuffing out inventors, right? They will not be eliminating at the behest of oil companies, people who can figure out a way to make you less reliant or unreliant on oil. In fact, no, I think you would still have to have oil in your vehicle, right, for lubrication purposes. because you'd be burning water, but in some way, I guess it's hydrogen. It gets changed in some sort of molecular. I can't even speak today, or chemical fashion. It gets changed, and then is burnable by the engine. But you'd still, for lubrication purposes, need oil, just like these green freaks think they're getting away from oil with these windmills. Hundreds and maybe thousands of gallons of oil are needed for those things. Sue says, too bad they didn't have control of OJ's vehicle when he was on the run. Just saying, yeah, that would have been nice, huh? Wow, what a fiasco. I remember that. 1993, was that? Was that 1993 or 1994? Can't remember. Anyway, if you watch that and you remember that, you're probably you might be in the time when you can say, I remember hitting the car radio and going ka-chunk. And then you have to remember the matchbook under the cassette. You'd have to put the cassette in there, and sometimes it wouldn't. So you got to stick the matchbook under it just so it would work, or bang it on the dashboard to get it to work. Good old days. Yeah, I'm telling you, if somebody were to do that, I would. First of all, I'd buy stock if I had the money to do it. Second of all, I would purchase one and drive it around the neighborhood, and it would be so cool. I wouldn't know what my tire pressure was until I actually got out and tried to test it with that little thing they sell for 49. They used to sell for 49 cents. I'm sure it's not 49 cents anymore, but you know what I mean. Okay. I wouldn't have all those conveniences, but man, I wouldn't have all the craziness either. We need to dial back some of this stuff. I think we lose a little bit of our natural humanity when we spend too long in the matrix. They have people, and I think this is the truth. People who don't ground themselves, so to speak. And grounding meaning you take off your shoes and you walk on the grass. You walk on the beach, right? You walk somewhere where you can make an electrical transaction with the earth, because we're just not used to that anymore, ladies and gents. And I think we're suffering health-wise from it. That and the fact we have pollution in our air, our food. Don't get me started on vaccines. But these are the things, ladies and gents, that basically plague humanity. But I do believe that there will be a time, in near future time, ladies and gents, where these things will abate a bit. I think there is evidence for that. I really, really do. I'll go back to Kevin Warsh's speech. We would never have heard such words from a Fed chairman 2 years ago, but we're hearing it. I truly believe that at some point soon, we will see the elimination of the income tax. I truly believe that. I really do, and I'm not kidding you. This is me, again. If you want an in-depth assessment of it, hit me up on Messenger or Gmail, whatever. Hit me up. I'll let you know. But again, I don't hide where I get this information. I mean, let me just rattle it off and see if this resonates with you. We've gone already through the narrative, Promethean action. Mike King, also on Rumble, will give you real news in history, right? He'll give you an assessment, a historical revision of the events, especially World War II. Never, ever happened the way they told us. Ladies and gents, we need an awakening, truly an awakening. First of all, and foremost, a spiritual awakening. Please don't take the wrong path. The spiritual awakening happens. And I'll tell you what, once it does, a lot of these things just get pushed to the side. And that's fine. You be you. I'm not your judge. I'm not going to ostracize you. I'm not going to, you decide to do something in your life, I'm not going to push you out of my life. Okay? I know none of you are overbearing and stalking, so I can say that. Okay? There are people who refuse to deal or have any relation whatsoever with a person, even a conversation, because they don't believe them to be sufficiently in line with what they believe. So be it. So be it. I'm not that person. I will have a conversation with you. If you ever want to know why I believe what I believe, why I'm so optimistic, Why is the Otter so optimistic? Why is he talking like this? Why is it, there's so much happening, the craziness in the judiciary. Ladies and gentlemen, this is peak retardation. Okay? And I don't mean that as a slur. I mean that as a real issue. When we have women on the bench named Sparkle, Katanji, that are altering our very way of life. And how do I mean that? If you alter elections, okay, and you ignore election law, established election protocol, and the most simple methods of ensuring secure elections, and I'm talking about voter ID, you are anathema to the American way. You are a clown. You are an asset to an evil organization because someone has bought you. Someone has put you in that position and utilizing you as an ass clown. Sorry, it had to be termed that way, but it is exactly that. You are purveying evil. But they don't care. They don't care. Look at this New York fiasco. Right? There's people out, ladies and gents, there's people out there still vowing to vote blue. And I'm not saying Republicans are better. They're a little better. But I'm not saying they're pure. They're corrupt too. The thing is, there are people that are saying, oh, I'm going to vote blue down the whole ticket. How's that working out for you, New York City? How's that working out for you? How's that Mamdani fool working out for you? Now you have an even worse situation on your hands. Because of these, I don't even know their names. But pretty soon, New York ladies, all you free young ladies, you better fit yourself for a hijab or a burqa. Because it's coming, sweet pea. It's coming. And don't think you're going to be left off of the list. Okay? Don't think they're going to let you pass when they're blocking Fifth Avenue with their morning and evening prayers. They don't do that in Muslim nations. You know why? Because they've already conquered that place. They're only doing it in the places where they want to conquer it. Yeah. Let that sink in. New York, I don't want to be there, man. I mean, I feel for the regular people there. But, at some point, I guess there's people that can't move. But at some point, you have to realize that the place is saturated with communists. If it's not saturated with communists, and you can prove me wrong if you'd like, or try, then there are enough communists in positions of authority to make life miserable for anyone there. That's exactly how I see this. Because these people are not elected. I'm saying this. I'm not putting you in my jackpot, but I'm telling you right now, this is my belief. They're installed. Do you think people voted for AOC? Do you think people even wanted, the majority of the people wanted Mamdani? Are you kidding me? I know there are a lot of warped, educated minds over there. And I mean educated in the worst sense of the word. The institutional education of today is ugly. It is completely over the rainbow. And if you get that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I know you will, Matt. Over the rainbow is a key word in basically, and I know people laugh at this, but mind control. The old school way of saying is brainwashing, conditioning, programming, whatever you want to call it, right? They take you to a place where reality is no longer even a touchstone. Ladies and gentlemen, when they tell you that men can be pregnant, you've lost it. You've gone over the rainbow. Your perspective, your paradigm is lost. There is really no reason for you to even speak to a rational person anymore after you say that. There are plenty of sycophants around the world, unfortunately, that will believe that mess. But I don't. And most rational thinkers, any rational thinker does not believe that. I am the arbiter of truth in my mind. I will call you as I see you. I will not call you whatever it is you want to tell me as you try to deceive me into thinking that's who you are and what you are. That's the way it works. Eric, men can look pregnant. I'll give you that. That's a very good observation. Men can look pregnant, and many of us do. Yes, we do. If you drink enough beer, you can indeed look pregnant. I assure you of that. Yes, and yes. So, but I assure you also that nothing will come of that engorged beer belly to give any life. In fact, it'll probably take some years off of you, unfortunately. So, yes, thank you. Good point, Eric. We can look that way. But that said, there are so many things going on in our life that we never would have thought of. Back in the day when we were jumping our sisters' bikes over ramps, because we didn't like to jump our bikes in case they were going to break, So we jump our sisters' bikes, right, Sue? I think it's called a dad bod. Yeah, Eric, it's probably that. A dad bod. It's hard to escape, especially as you get up in age. Dad bods occur. And, that's a look. It's a legitimate look. I won't disparage it. But back in the day when we were kids, the 80s, if you will, 90s for some of you, maybe even you millennials can relate. I don't know. Life got really, really twisted after 9/11, 2001. So back in that day, things were different. Oh, don't get me wrong. There were troubles. People had, there was pain involved. There was corruption. There was a lot of corruptions, trafficking, all that crazy, evil stuff. But it has, much in the days of Noah, biblically, it has raised to a fever pitch. I have prayed for years now, and I will continue to pray for, and I think it's coming, a resurgence of God's Spirit in America, and then worldwide. We have the capacity to be the city on the hill, a city on the hill. So with that said, I think things are getting better, and I think I have reasons to tell you that. Sue says, yeah, you looked really cool with my yellow banana seat. Yeah, I did look not so much cool, but I got so much air off of that bike. It was really, you always come down with the front tire first, though. Yeah. But those were fun days, man. Those were fun days. A piece of plywood, some bricks. Shaky it was. Yeah, we had skinned elbows, knees, bumped heads. I don't know how many concussions I must have had. But not as cool as our green machines. Yes! I was telling some guys at work the other day, I had a green machine with the pull levers and the wheels make you spin out. Good times. So those days were much simpler, ladies and gents. Nowadays, and let me let you in on another beautiful, wonderful woman. Her name is Catherine Austin Fitz. Literal genius. Right? She has she got screwed over I might have told you this, by the government. She was the undersecretary or assistant secretary of housing back, I think, in the Bush years or Clinton or whatever. And she found fraud, and then they nailed her to the cross with that fraud. Took $9 million of her own money. She's an entrepreneur. Brilliant woman, right? She has this thing called the Popsicle Index. And I'm tying this back into the old days in the 80s, 90s, whatever. So the Popsicle Index says this. It's basically a survey of parents in a certain location, in a neighborhood, a community, whatnot, a town, a village. And this Popsicle Index says essentially this. How far would you allow a 12-year-old to walk or bike alone to get a popsicle and come back home? Ladies and gents, anybody who's lived prior to 2000, wow. My wife listens to her all the time. Awesome. Eric Schrader says street hockey was the best. Yes, it was. Street hockey, says Sue. And Carr. Those were the days. Those were the days. This popsicle index, guys, let's say back in the 80s, it was a mile, 2 miles. And I'll tell you, on our bikes, we traveled a lot further than that. Guaranteed. No lie. Everybody knows it. It was an awesome time. Did we get into some danger sometimes? Yes, we did. But here we are. That popsicle index or that popsicle radius has shrunk. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people now who wouldn't let their 12-year-old leave their own street. Sad. Sad. But it is a sign of times. Let us pray. Again, I'm not afraid and I'm not ashamed at all to tell you that the real name of God that he will see and answer is Jesus. If we pray in his name, we have a chance of a spiritual revival. Okay? A spiritual revival in our country, and from there it will spread. I guarantee it will. When those who call themselves Christians, when those who claim to be Christians bend their knee and we become humble. We become humble. We obey God. We do what he wants us to do. Don't do what he doesn't want us to do. And we pray for our nation, our family, our country. It's going to happen. And I think it is happening because he hears our cries. He hears our prayers, our petitions. They don't fall on deaf ears. And it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. We are gaining freedom day by day. Again, I don't think we ought to be in the minutia. It's not a healthy place. But I can, if you desire a little bit of perhaps optimism, if it rubs off, so to speak, I can point you to reasons why I'm seeing these things. And a lot of them don't come to mind while I'm in this hour-long show, which is nearing an end. A lot of them don't come to mind when I'm on air, and I really appreciate everybody participating. And if you're new, if you're a person who is a millennial, I would love to hear your examples. If you're watching this, be it later or live, I would love to sample opinions of all generations that are still alive. I really would. I think that is lost on our society today because we have perhaps not jettisoned the elderly, but they're not in our lives the way they used to be. Am I wrong? Going to grandpa or grandma for advice is not as easy, especially if you're older. They're gone. Lord willing, they're with you, Jesus. So, all that to say this. While we see chaos, and if you tune into TV, I hope you don't. Most people who watch this show do not. If you tune into TV, that's all you're going to see is chaos and lies. Save yourself from that. The news will only hurt you. It will only bring your morale down. It cannot do anything to pick you up. It will mislead you and vex you. So will so many, yes, internet, web sites. I understand. But that's the beauty of today. You can pick and choose where you get your news information. And don't believe in authority. Because authorities will tell you lies like safe and effective. And those lies could mean your life. So where I'm going with all this is I am literally praying. Every episode we pray with each other, and I appreciate that. I pray for you. I pray for your families, everyone here that has come to the show live, and everyone who is watching it after we will close this broadcast. Sue says, how about hallway hockey with a foil puck, tinfoil puck? Yes, we did that. We actually did that. John, my cousin, we did that. Once in a while, Sue, and she didn't like it and left. Played with her dolls or whatever. But aiming at your sister's head, yeah, that was done. That was done. Sisters weren't normally, at least in our house, because of me, weren't normally treated kindly. Let's just say that. I'm sorry, Sue. But I do believe truly that we will win. America will win. America will be great. I'll go back real quickly to Alexis de Tocqueville. Okay. He said that America is great because America is good. If America ceases to be good, it will cease to be great. Well, unfortunately, for a generation or two, we ceased to be good. But we're back on the road to being good, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to happen. We're going to do it. Let us pray it into existence to manifest here on earth. Yes, Eric, she was traumatized. Please don't get her on the wagon. She's going to unload on you, Eric. She will tell you all kinds of things, most of them true. Perhaps not all of them true, but most of them will be. And conveniently for me, we've reached the hour mark. So you guys will have to continue that conversation on Messenger. I love you all. I thank you all. Thank you for showing up. Those of you that are watching after the fact, I love you. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless America. Otter out.